day, everyone. I am Mary Grace of Gelbolingo, and for today's video, we will be discussing the Chapter 6, Lesson 1B about justice as equality. Together with me in my group are Miss Niña Dolorie Gamosa and Miss Lesley Inlajusta, who will join with me to give you detailed and informative information about our topic. So for a clearer view about our presentation, here is a topic outline. First, we have here the definition of justice. Second would be the definition of equality. Third is equality in Islam. Fourth, the types of equality. Fifth, aim of justice, equality. Sixth, justice as equality. And last but not the least is think justice as equality. So those were the topics that we are going to share with you as we continue with our discussion. So before digging deeply on what equality is, let us first evaluate and learn about justice. So what is justice? Justice is defined as a moral principle determining just conduct. Justice also means giving each person what he or she deserves, or in more traditional terms, giving each person his or her due. So let us also learn about the definition of justice according to different great people. First, we have from Plato. He defined justice as a microcosm of the just man is a reflection of the pattern of the just society. Justice to him as well is by depicting what a just society is, wherein every person is inherently adapted to some specific function, and if he departs from that function, he is guilty for injustice. And lastly, justice discounted by pain and dishonor is more advantageous than injustice supplemented by the rewards of justice. Second would be from Aristotle. According to Aristotle, justice is the act refraining from pleonexia, wherein pleonexia means gain something for advantage for oneself and deny other rights and property. Next is from Hammurabi. Hammurabi declares that justice is to appear in the land that destroying the evil and the wicked so that the strong might not oppress the weak. Next is from Dennis Lloyd. According to him, justice being linked with equality of treatment undoubtedly owes much to the cessation of justice with legal proceedings. Law supposed to be applied equally in all situations and to all persons without fear or favor, the application of law without discrimination, and the best embodiment of justice. But justice cannot simply mean that we treat everyone alike regardless of individual differences. Next is from Corazon and Bentham, but first let us learn from Corazon. He treats justice as an important, impartial resolution of disputes arising from conflicting claims by not favoring one from another, not discriminating, bias, and prejudice. And for Bentham, he defines justice as the maximum happiness of maximum number of people. So those were the different viewpoints of justice definition according to those great identified people. Now, let us move on about what is equality. So equality is about ensuring that every individual has an equal opportunity to make the most of their lives and talents. It is also the belief that no one should have poor life chances because of the way they were born, where they come from, and what they believe or whether they have a disability. It is about also making sure that everyone has a chance to take part in society on equal basis and be treated appropriately regardless of their gender, race, disability, age, sexual orientation, language, social origin, religious beliefs, marital status, and other personal attributes. And it is also about creating a fairer society where everyone can participate and has the same opportunity to fulfill their potential. Basically, equality is backed by law and is designed to address unfair discrimination, which is based in membership of a particular group, and we all have the right to be treated equally. So, in short, treating equality is treating everyone the same, treating everyone according to their needs, and treating everyone nicely. And this could lead us with the same status, level, rights, protections, but we have to take note that equality is not always about treating everyone the same. It is about treating people in such a way that the outcome for each person can be the same. And this means putting things in place to support people to achieve similar outcomes. And next is we have a viewpoint here from Nigel, wherein according to him, our world is full of inequality. And this leads him to his famous teaching about social inequality, which refers to the unequal distribution of opportunities, resources, and outcomes between people in a society. It's a concept and idea that we are all quite familiar with. For example, we are aware of the gender and ethnic inequality in terms of pay. We know that women on average earn less than men, and some ethnic minority groups earn less than the ethnic majority. So basically, the gender, ethnic, and social class inequality intersect, and people face multiple advantages and disadvantages in life. We can as well begin to illustrate the issue of social inequality by talking about life chances. And lastly, Hart sees the principle of equality as an underlying essence of justice. So according to him, equality of outcome can be achieved by making sure that everyone is supported to have access to resources and decision making and to be recognized, valued, and respected. So when support is not put in place, it usually results in exclusion, even if this is not intended, because people from marginalized situations do not feel or know that they can attend a group, even if the mission statement says it is open to all. And next would be equality in Islam. So, equality in Islam, the basic element in the value system of Islam is the principle of equality or equity. This value of equality is not to be mistaken for or confused with identicalness or stereotype, because as Islam teaches that in the sight of Allah Almighty, all people are equal, but they are not necessarily identical. So these are the differences of abilities, potentials, ambitions, wealth, and so on. And this is as well to assert that in Islam, no nation is created to be above other nations or to rise above them. So man's worth in the eyes of man and in the eyes of Allah is determined by the good he does and by his obedience to Allah. So the differences of race, color, or social status are only incidental. They do not affect the true stature of man in the sight of Allah. And again, the value of equality is not simply a matter of constitutional rights or the agreement of noble men or condescending charity. It is an article of faith which the Muslim takes seriously and to which he must adhere sincerely. And lastly is the foundations of this Islamic value of equality are deeply rooted in the structure of Islam. So what are those structure of Islam? So it stems from basic principles such as the following. So first, all men are created by one and the same eternal God, the supreme Lord of all. Second, all mankind belong to the human race and share equally in the common parentage of Adam. May Allah exalt his mention and Eve. Third would be Allah is just and kind to all his creatures. Fourth, all people are born equal. Fifth, Allah judges every person on the basis of his own merits. And lastly, Allah has conferred on man a title of honor and dignity. So we have also here two main passage or Bible verse in Islam basis. So first we have here, according to Al-Quran, Al-Hujurat 49 verse 13, wherein it was said that the believers are both brothers. So make peace between your brothers and keep from disobedience to God in reverence for him and piety, so that you may be shown mercy. So basically, the last two verses mean that all the believers are brothers and sisters who are dutiful to one another in this relationship. It hints that there may be quarrels, even fighting among brothers, which may sometimes arise from rivalry and jealousy. So even if they quarrel and fight with one another, they are still brothers and sisters, and brotherhood and sisterhood require peace. So if, despite the fact that there cannot be enmity among them, two parties of believers dispute or fight with each other, the other believers who are brothers and sisters to them must reconcile them immediately and make peace between them as required by such a relationship. So when they are reconciled and have made peace, they must be meticulous in acting according to the precepts of justice. Since quarrels among brothers and sisters usually break out because of rivalry and jealousy, dispensing justice with great care is particularly important. The second passage is, O mankind, indeed you have created you from male and female, and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Meaning, we are created in our different groups so that we may better understand each other. And beyond that, to understand ourselves, we all have our own cultures and traditions which seem completely natural to us until we meet someone from another culture. Then we have to ask ourselves, why do we wear this or eat that? And those people do differently. How they respect their elders and discipline their children. Can we learn from them? So those are the two passages, and this leads us to the principle of musuwat. So what is this principle of musuwat? This refers to the equality before the law and rights and duties. So all in all, such are some of the principles behind the value of equality in Islam, and when this concept is fully utilized, it will leave no place for prejudice or persecutions, and when this divine ordinance is fully implemented, then there will be no room for oppression or suppression, and the concepts of chosen and Gentile peoples, words such as privileged and condemned, races, expressions such as social case and citizens will all become meaningless and obsolete. So those are all for my part, and I will now pass the report to the next reporter. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day, everyone. Stay safe.
So right now I am going to discuss the types of equality. So there are four types of equality, which is freedom, welfare, resources, and political. So in political thought, equality is described that all human beings are equal, and equality in distribution, namely equal distribution of wealth, social opportunities, and political power. So let's start first with freedom. So if all human beings are free, then they are all equal. But not totally, for the reason that feeling free might lead to a negative outcome. For instance, you thought that what you said to your friend will not get them affected, but they were, and you weren't sorry for it because you have your own freedom. We all have our own freedom, but we also need to put it at the right place and at the right time. So the next one is welfare. It begins with a simple yet profound remark. Equating persons in one aspect of their situational makes them equal. So in welfare, for instance, these people that who don't have a home, they need to have the attention of the government more for them to be associated with help and care. They're also human beings. They need help more so that they will have a role model to strive hard in their lives. Resources. The total sum of the value of country's assets minus its liabilities. So we all know that the Philippines is the 94th in the list of debt to gross domestic product, or GPD, with over $12.3 trillion as of March 2022. So the question is, should Filipinos be worried about the national debt? So based on my research, experts says that Filipinos shouldn't be worried too much over borrowings. What's more important is that the money is spent on the country to recover quickly and pay the debt. So the last one is political. Freedom of speech, expression, and association. So for example, we all know that the Halalan 2022 was very anxious for us, waiting for the results to come. Some voted for Vice President Leni Robredo and some voted for President Bongbong Marcos. But in the meantime, on Facebook and as well as Twitter, lots of people bashed the Kakampink, which refers to the supporters of Vice President Leni Robredo and as well as the BBM supporters. They were being sarcasm to one another and thinking it was their freedom to speak without considering that they can hurt each other. So right now we're going to tackle the aim of justice, equality. So human rights is the belief that everybody should be treated equally. What is special about humans is our humanity. And as humans, we can think and articulate thoughts. We also have a sense of right and wrong. Nobody has the right to own another person or to force them to work under threat or punishment. So equals that does not mean that we are all the same. Each one of us is different in our own special way, but we also have the common qualities that makes us all humans. So each of us should be treated with respect and dignity and treat others the same way. No person should be discriminated against in their sexual and reproductive lives. Everybody has the right to protect from all forms of violence caused by reason of race, color, language, sex, religion, political, national or social origin, property, birth, or another status. We were born free, so all of the people have an equal right to freedom, but freedom does not mean we can do anything, nor freedom can freedom for some mean limiting the freedom of others. Though we are born free, we live in a community that functions because there is an understanding among its members.
So, hi everyone. So, my name is Lesley Inlajusta and I'll be the one to report the justice as equality. So, justice as equality, all people should be treated equally, and to ensure equality, the doctrine of stare decisis, judicial precedent is followed in the courtroom. Example, the similar cases will apply similar legal principles to ensure consistency and equality in decision. And also, justice and equality requires rules setting out how categories or classes of people should be treated. So, the most fundamental principle of justice, one of that has been widely accepted since it was first defined by Aristotle more than 2,000 years ago, is the principle that equal should be treated equally and unequals unequally. In this contemporary form, this principle is sometimes expressed as follows. So, individuals should be treated the same unless they differ in ways that are relevant to the situation in which they are involved. So, for example, if Jack and Jill both do to the same work and there are no relevant differences between them or the work they are doing, then in justice they should be paid the same wages. And if Jack is paid for more than Jill simply because he is a man or because he is white, then he have an injustice, a form of discrimination, because race and sex are not relevant to normal work situation. So here we have article. So the Article 8 Federal Constitution, all are equal before the law and entitled to equal protection. No discrimination against citizens on the ground of race, religion, gender, place of birth, and etc. So that is the Article 8. So in the field of law and politics, one of the most essential moral principle is justice. So and justice majimui this is important in our society. So law and order are desirable, but neither can be achieved without justice. Yes, true. To various group of people, the word justice can signify different things. The principle of equal treatment established that all people and in context of the workplace, all workers have the right to receive the same treatment and not to be discriminated against on the basis of criteria such as age, disability, nationality, race, and religion. So, yeah, technically is that we're not kuan manggot ka nang mag-discriminate sa mga atong isig ka tao, and yeah, it's not kuan man siya sa ato ang society, pero here in Philippines kay mostly kay mga judgmental man jud kaayo. So mo na siya, dili kita mag-discriminate sa laing tao. Then next we have the think of justice as equality. So here there's a question, justice and equal treatment. Everyone should be treated equally. What does this mean? So what does this mean? So the right to equal treatment requires that all persons be treated equally before the law without discrimination. So the principle of equality and non-discrimination guarantees that those in equal circumstances are dealt with equality in law and practice. So, however, it is important to stress that not every distinction of or difference in treatment will amount to discrimination. So, if here in last question is, if a special needs child is placed in separate class in a child being treated equally. So, if ang special child daw, if na place siya sa separate nga class, is ma-treat na siya equally. So, if a child has a learning impairment or condition that makes learning more difficult for them than most children, especially their age, they have special education needs. And they may be experiencing difficulties with schooling, communication, or behavior. Specialists, instructors, and non-profit profit organization can assist and advise parents. So, here in Article 24 of the United Nations Convention on the Right Person with Disabilities declares that state parties recognize the right of person with disabilities to education, with a view to realizing that this right without discrimination and on the basis of equal opportunity. State parties shall ensure an inclusive education system at all levels. So, mo siya. A further statement that state parties should ensure that the person with disabilities are not excluded from the general education system on the basis of disabilities, and that children with disabilities are not excluded from the free and compulsory primary education or from secondary education on the basis of disabilities. So, if if a separated in a separate class, the child may have other reaction or non-reaction. So only that the separate class he or she separated will be treated in a way he or she behaves. So and must be treated equally. So the student may learn more if separated in a separate class, and the teacher can focus on helping him or her more to overcome his or her speciality of being special, not speciality, but cannot be included in regular rooms. So I think that's all my report, and thank you.